It's been a while since I visited Beijing's splendid botanical gardens, stuck out on the northwestern extremities of the city near Shangshan, or Fragrant Hills Park, at the foot of the Western Hills. It's the largest botanical garden in North China, and with stunning weather being forecast for the weekend, my friend Xu Fei and I decide the time is ripe for another trip out there. With so many things to see inside the grounds, there's a range of prices one can pay, though 45 kwai gets you in to see everything, so that's what we plump for. A word to the wise, though. If instead of entering through the south, southeast or west gates, you walk round to the northwest gate, you can get into the botanical gardens for free. Just ask for the bee museum and they wave you through. The botanical garden has an open area of 2 million square meters, that's about 500 acres, about half what was originally planned in 1956 when the project was begun. But with 6,000 species of plants and flowers, amounting to over 1.5 million plants actually cultivated here, I doubt anyone is really that bothered. There are 11 themed gardens within the overall gardens, and plenty to delight the visitors as they tramp the myriad paths. For instance, a sculpture called Zhuo Shun, or Grow Strong, was initially created by a Japanese artist called Mitsuaki Sora to mark the 30th anniversary in 2002 of the formalization of Sino-Japanese diplomatic relations. It was expanded in 2007 to symbolize the friendship of 5 continents under the Olympic flag, a bit ironic now given the parlous state of relations between Asia's main economic movers. There's also a statue of Qiao Shu-jin, one of China's favorite novelists, who is probably best known for his book A Dream of Red Mansions. I have no idea why there's a sculpture of him here, but no doubt someone somewhere thought it would be a good idea. One thing I love about the botanical gardens is the ever-changing face of the scenery, as we are led from one layout to another along twisting avenues. One moment you're enjoying intriguing rockeries, the next you walk by ponds and lakes or cross over them on elegant bridges. Who can fail to be moved by it all? And the nice thing about taking pictures of bridges is that you can do all kinds of weird and wonderful things with them in Photoshop later. One of the most popular additions to the garden is the conservatory, which lies smack bang in the middle of the place. The greenhouse is reputed to be the largest in Asia and exhibits thousands of tropical and subtropical plants. Construction started in 1998 and it was finally opened to the public 2 years later. It has a footprint of some 2.5 acres and is divided into 4 parts: a tropical rainforest area, cacti and succulents, orchids, bromeliads and carnivorous plants, and a 4 seasons garden. Don't let the tackiness of 2 plastic dinosaurs at the entrance put you off. Even the kids seem to avoid them, as there's still plenty to enjoy. We're told that there are 3,100 varieties of plants here, and many have detailed information about their origins and flower types. Unfortunately, the guys who actually made the signs were obviously not English speakers, and were also not very good at copy typing. But hey, they made the effort, and for that, full marks, I say. My favourite area of the greenhouse is the orchid room, in which there are over 300 different varieties. The purple ones, displayed in a natural environment as they might be found in tropical forest, are simply stunning, as are some of the cacti in the desert area house. But tackiness is never far beneath the surface in this place. I mean, why should anyone actually want to climb onto an Easter Island head made of polystyrene? Do the curators really think the public are more turned on by such rubbish than by their beautiful plants? How sad. Outside in the fresh air again, we walk past the Penjing garden. Penjing, or literally tray scenery, is the Chinese equivalent of Japanese bonsai and falls into 3 categories. Tree Penjing, called shumu, in which 1 or more trees and optionally other plants are shaped by the creator through trimming, pruning and wiring. Landscape Penjing, or shen shui, where a miniature landscape is made up by carefully selecting and shaping rocks, which are usually placed in a container in contact with water, and in which small live plants are placed within the composition to complete the depiction. And water and land Penjing, or shuihan, which is effectively a combination of the first 2, including miniature trees and optionally miniature figures and structures to portray a landscape in detail. The most famous one on display is a 3.8-metre tall, 1300-year-old ancient ginkgo stub, which gets pringing aficionados drooling, apparently. As in so many parts of Beijing, one is never surprised to come across yet another temple, and here is no exception. The Temple of Recumbent Buddha, or Wufo Temple, was built in the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD, and is one of the oldest in Beijing. There's a tree-lined avenue going up to the temple complex, starting from a triple archway which has 4 Chinese characters above it, meaning enlightenment of wisdom, consult the mystery of Buddhism. As always, there are some fierce warriors guarding the main gate. But for me, the real beauty lies in the way it is all landscaped, including an amazing pond that is just stuffed full of goldfish. Back in the main part of the park again, and we pass a little landmark marking the 40-degree latitude line that runs through the gardens. It feels a bit like stepping over the 0 meridian line at Greenwich and London. I had always thought of Beijing lying at 39 degrees north, but apparently the main runway at Beijing's capital airport is located at 40.05 degrees north, so I guess this makes perfect sense. As I might have mentioned, there are numerous gardens within gardens in this park. There's an arboretum, a potted landscape garden, and loads of gardens with themes such as lilacs, Chinese roses, flowering peaches, peonies, conifers, and so on. There are swathes of maples that turn a lurid red in the late autumn, or malus, prunus, and other such like that are filled with blossom in the spring. Timing is everything when you come to these gardens. But even the cotoneaster section, out of season, is a wonderful sight, set off as they are by weeping willows and mountainous vistas. Perhaps my favourite end of the botanical gardens, though, is the northwest section, in which a wooded landscape complete with wooden plank paths, meandering water, and cute little bridges has been created. It reminds me a little of some of the splendid walks in Yorkshire in the north of England. Though unlike in the UK, where you're mollycoddled into a cotton-wool existence, here you have to look out for your own safety. No one is going to do it for you. The northeast side of the park is also a delight. Here there's a beautiful lake you can walk around, which in the main is pretty empty of the crowds of visitors who prefer to stick to the main areas. Tranquil and relaxing. Ah! Further along the bank is a small watchtower, which was built during the reign of the 18th century Emperor Qianlong, who ordered the construction of 60 blockhouses in the region for defence. Legend has it that Qianlong found the Fragrant Hill area a place of good geomantic omen, and there were often dragon-shaped clouds around there. So in order to protect the dragon vein, i.e. the imperial pulse, he ordered the construction of the bunkers to ensure the longevity of his rule. What a wise emperor! I guess all good things must draw to a close, and eventually we find ourselves heading for the gate, where a number of people, inspired by what they have seen in the botanical gardens, seem tempted to wonder if they too could make their very own mini-garden back home. There's a brisk flurry of commercial activity as plants and seeds get snapped up by the punters while we make for the gates. You'd think that with all this tramping about the botanical gardens, we'd be feeling pretty shattered by now. But Xu Fei comes up with a suggestion. It appears that she has a friend from her hometown of Xi'an who works right across the road from the southeast gate of the gardens in the Institute of Botany of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Maybe if I'm interested, he could show us around. Never one to miss an opportunity, I urge her to make the call. But that, as they say, is a story for another day.